Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from theblackbusinessschool.com. I was thinking about my life as I was sitting on the treadmill today. Just kind of, well, actually not the treadmill. I have an exercise bike in my living room that I use to not so much get into shape, but when you get to be my age, it's a matter of fighting off obesity. So I try to engage in physical activity on a daily basis. And during this time, I reflect on my life. I think about my life a lot. I think about the past, the present, the future. I think about the lives of the people I care about. I think about how things got to be where they are right now. How my life became whatever it is today, good and bad. And one of the things I thought about was a conversation I had with somebody about millennials and people under the age of 35, under the age of 25, and, just some of the challenges that young people have in their 20s. And one of the funny things that has kind of proven to be somewhat true is that there are a lot of employers who struggle when it comes to working with or hiring millennials. They feel that sometimes young people come out of college expecting that they're going to take over the world within 2 weeks because they have a bachelor's degree. And they don't really realize that the rest of the world kind of thinks that the degree is really just the beginning. It's not the end of anything. It doesn't really prove that you know how to do much. It shows that you were able to stick to something for 4 years and get a basic degree of education, which obviously is very important. But at that point, you're kind of starting all over again. You're beginning an uphill battle. And so, as I thought about this, I thought about my own life in my 20s. And it's funny because when I look back on it, I was doing some pretty cool stuff. I was actually teaching college at the age of 22. So by the time I was 26, 27, I'd been teaching college students for 5 years. And I didn't realize how rare that was until I was older. And I realized that I don't know a single young person in that same category. I remember how hard it was. I remember not expecting any support and not getting any support. I had a mentor who was a good friend, but he didn't really understand everything I was doing. He's not as radically black as I am, so he didn't always we didn't always see eye to eye on the way I kind of saw racism in this country. And I had pretty much no financial help. I think I remember my parents loaning me $200 one time, and that's about it. That's all I really remember. But I was just happy to have parents and have parents that were married and a place I could go home to visit. So it wasn't as if I was complaining about it, but I just look back and I say, man, I wonder what my life would have been like if I'd actually had some advantages. If I'd had a relative willing to invest $2,000 or $3,000 in me, or willing to help me cover a year's rent so I could focus on my goal as opposed to focusing on my goal while still trying to pay the bills. And so, when I look back on that, I remember how tough it was. I remember at the age of 28, I remember basically pretty much being homeless. I kind of hit rock bottom in my life because basically the two things that measure your quality of life are usually your relationship status. I mean, if you're married, how your marriage is going. If you got kids, how your kids are doing. Things like that. So family status, if you will. And professional. If you ask people, how are you doing? First things they tell you about are what's going on with the family, what's going on with the job. I took a new job. Yeah, we moved to Virginia. Oh, yeah, my wife is doing great. Things like that, right? And basically in those two categories, my life had kind of fallen to shit. And I remember I was almost homeless. I actually had to move out of my apartment in the middle of the night, and I had only had enough money to rent a van one way for one day. And I filled this van up with everything I could get in this van. And it was so full that I had to put my basketball on the dashboard. That's how crazy it was. And I moved to Ohio because I'd gotten into Ohio State University to finish my PhD. And I just remember how safe I finally felt knowing that I had a place to live. Just that fear of just, not knowing what was going to happen. And And the good thing about that experience was that it transformed me. It kind of made me more determined to be unapologetically black, to be the man that I am. Because, I was dealing with racism on the job and stuff like that. I mean, you've heard me talk about racism, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that right now. Um, and I'll tell you that, after going through all that, just that uphill climb in my 20s, where basically you're in school year after year, your relatives are like, huh, so you still in school, huh? That's the question I would get at every family gathering, everything. Kind of dealing with wondering if your life is ever going to come together, wondering if you were in over your head. I remember thinking, well, maybe I'm just not smart enough to be around these people to try to do the things I'm trying to do. Because it wasn't as if I was around anybody who really understood what I was doing. I had one woman who kind of understood it, and that situation didn't work out. And actually, my commitment to my goals is what actually cost me that experience, which would, kind of cost me my family at the time. She had a son. Her son was pretty much like my son. I love that kid to death. And it was tough. It was really, really hard. And I guess, I think about that sometimes because I'll have people that will come to me and they'll say, oh, Dr. Boyce, it's easy for you to tell everybody to do this and to do that, to get educated, to invest, to work hard. Because look at you. You make a lot of money. You have a PhD. You're quote unquote famous, whatever that means. And I just want to look at them and say, you stupid idiot. I mean, I don't say that. I wouldn't say that to them. But I'm sitting there thinking, do you know what I've been through? I mean, do you understand how hard this was? Do you know what it's like sitting in school to the age of 31 when all your friends are out living life and getting married and having kids and growing up and buying houses and getting nice cars and making money and whatever, and you're chasing some stupid pipe dream of having a PhD? And a finance PhD is not easy. That's one of the hardest PhDs there is. Only things that are harder are like things like nuclear physics or molecular biology, stuff like that. But it's not. It wasn't one of those fly-by-night programs. I mean, I see people get their PhDs in 6 weeks, and those are cute programs. My program was torture. So, anyway, I would just say that, the reason I kind of brought this up is because it kind of made me think about the fact that, you shouldn't judge a tree by the branches and the leaves. You got to judge it by the roots. You got to judge by, where it came from. And, the experiences I went through, I don't regret the tough experiences because it made me a tougher person. It made me realize I can do pretty much anything. I came out, when I finally got done, I had a lot of confidence. I ain't afraid of nothing. But at the same time, it's just a reminder, if you're a young person, or if you're not so young, and you're going through the struggle, just know that, success is not something that usually comes to just lucky people. It's not just that it randomly happens to you. It's usually because you made a sacrifice other people were not willing to make. Or actually, there's a saying that says that a winner is really just a loser who tried one more time, who never gave up. And that's it. Because I was a loser. I mean, I felt like a loser most of my life. I'd fall on my face, get back up, fall on my face, get back up, fall on my face, get back up. There's nothing like studying 10, 12 hours a day and still failing the class. That's a horrible feeling. And then you're going to bed thinking about how you can work harder, find more time to get more done. That's why I became a time management expert, was because I literally remember dissecting a 24-hour day or a 168-hour week or an 8,760-hour year and figuring out how much I could get done in that time if I was totally efficient, if I eliminated all distractions, if I maintained complete focus. And the beauty of that experience is that I carry that mindset with me till today. That's why I don't tend to see eye to eye with people who think that black people can't accomplish anything or that we can't overcome racial oppression, because I tend to look at the most efficient outcome, and I know from that experience that there's always another level you can go to. There's always a way you can do things a little bit better. There's always a way you could try a little bit harder. There's always another sacrifice you can make without completely depleting yourself. There's always another resource you can obtain. There's always another way you can approach the problem. Never ever give up. Never stop believing that there isn't a better way. There's always a better way. There's never a ceiling. You just may see the ceiling because you need to move to the left a little bit and realize that there is no roof on this building called life. So that's all I just want to share with you guys. I'm literally sitting here. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm pedaling on my bike, and I'm thinking about life, and that's what I do. That's been my life for 20-something years, and I really like it now. I have a lot of solitude. So if I ever say weird stuff online or look like I've been thinking deeply about something, that's where this stuff comes from. So I appreciate you guys embracing my weirdness. By the way, if you have a chance to come to Chicago, we're going to premiere our new film, Resurrecting Black Wall Street: The Blueprint. It's going to be premiered at the Harold Washington Center on March 26th. You can buy tickets at drboycechicago.com. That's drboycechicago.com. I'm also, of course, going to give a speech about black wealth building and how we can build our own Wall Streets in the 21st century. We're going to go to other cities as well. We just added Houston on deck. We don't have a date yet, but we're going to come to Houston soon. Baltimore is on April 28th, so you can learn more at thedrboycewatkinstour.com. That's thedrboycewatkinstour.com. The last thing I want to share with you guys, and I hope you'll check it out, because I spent a lot of time thinking about this. We have a program called blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, which is a program for wealth building for children. I designed the program so that when a child goes through this, they pass all the exams, they will have an average financial literacy level that exceeds the average college student. It'll be the best investment in your children you've ever made, because here's the thing. We live in a world where black people and black children, we learn the latest hip-hop songs. They learn the latest dance moves. They know what's going on in love and hip-hop. They know how to tweet, text, and Snapchat all their friends who are taking booty pics on the internet, but they don't know how to balance a checkbook, don't know how to buy a share of stock, and don't know how to start a business. That is downright criminal. You don't put your children out into the world and make them sheep for the economic wolves that are designed to annihilate your child from the time they're born. You prepare them to fight, period. So the URL is blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, and also it's part of the blackbusinessschool.com, which you can join for free. Join the tribe. You gotta join this black financial literacy movement, because there really is a movement on this. Black people are waking up. We're realizing how to control our money, and our financial power really is our black power. I'm not giving up on our people. I know we can do this. We are the greatest. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye-bye.